Hello Tipsy Coffee families. We are here with your week 1 litter update. And we've got Mama Tippy here. We're going to give you an update on her and how she's doing after her surgery last week. We're also going to give you an update on all of the puppies. And we're going to start talking about getting ready to welcome your puppy home. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and I am so excited to let you know that Tippy is 100% back to her normal self. She is a remarkable dog, and her powers of recovery are just so good. It didn't take Tippy hardly any time at all to recover from her surgery. When she came home, she was really happy to see her babies. She nursed them right away, and she just has kept going ever since then. Tippy's had a really good appetite, and she only had to have pain meds for 1 day after being home, and that was it. We kept her on antibiotics until yesterday, and that was just in case there was any infection that happened from the fact that her uterus did rupture within her abdominal cavity. So we also got the lab reports yesterday, and there is no infection at all. So we are all so excited that Miss Tippy has a 100% clean bill of health. Now, Tippy has an incision, of course, from her C-section. Oh, and she says, I'm not going to show anybody that. And one of the concerns when a girl comes back from C-section surgery is that they will pester that incision. They'll be licking at it, or it'll be itchy, or something will be bothering them about it. And then, of course, if that happens, the girl needs to wear a cone. And if she has a cone on, she can't really nurse her puppies properly, nor can she get around to reach them to keep them clean. So we're really happy that Tippy hasn't been at all concerned with her incision. So how come she didn't bother with it? Who knows? Part of it is her. Part of it, I'm sure, is credit to the surgeon who was able to do a good job with stitching her up. Her stitches are inside of her. They're not external, so they will just dissolve. She doesn't need to go and have her stitches removed at all. And then we also use our all-natural cream that we put on their teats to keep them supple. I have that on the incision to also keep it nice and supple and smooth. It's also because she is nursing. It's really nice because her milk bar is heavy, and so it makes the two sides of her belly go together a bit like this, and the incision is up here, so it does keep it rather naturally hidden. So away from her, out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. But whatever the reason, we're just really happy that everything has gone so smoothly. Tippy is eating a fair amount of food. Right now you can see she's eating kibble. Now what the heck is that all about since we feed a raw diet? Well, when we have our moms in here, we always leave puppy kibble out for them because you don't ever want your moms to be without food or water. They should eat all they want whenever they want. So with the raw food, we don't like to leave it in the room for longer than just the amount of time it takes to eat it, because of course we have the room at a warm temperature to keep the puppies warm, because the puppies cannot control their own body temperature yet. So it's 23 degrees Celsius in the room, which is hot. And if we left the raw food out here for any length of time, it wouldn't be safe. So that's why we use the kibble. We also use a variety of different freeze-dried foods, and we put them out for her as well. And so that way she has free access to whatever she wants. Now Tippy's being her usual princess self, and when we bring her her food, her regular food, she goes, oh thanks, and then she waits for you to feed it to her. Is it because she can't eat? No. Is it because she doesn't want to eat? No. Is it because she likes the service? Yes. Do we cater to her? Yes, absolutely. I know there are many breeders who say, oh, that's just terrible. Just leave it and she'll eat when she's ready. It's fine. That's not me. I figure these girls are working really hard. It's a big responsibility to be a mom, whether you're a cat, a dog, or a human. And she is a mom because I asked her to be. So I don't think it's at all untoward that she expects that she gets some special treatment, and I don't mind feeding her. So I come and sit in the box with her, and it's my opportunity also to spend a bit more time with these cuties. Now I'm really excited to tell all of you that everybody has doubled their birth weight. Now, we had our puppy family visits for 2 other litters this weekend. Tippy's puppies actually turned a week old yesterday. And yesterday, these 3 puppies had doubled their birth weights, but little Squirt Green here hadn't, but he was just 2 grams short. So he has today. So I'm really glad we're filming today so that he gets to be in that winners category there. Now these puppies, Red Collar Girl, you'll see with her, she's quite wide and plump here. Purple Collar Girl is filling out nicely too. Orange and Green look a little bit thinner, but even though Green's such a little squirt, he does have a really nice full round tummy. Now, a couple of times when Tippy's done her redecorating, I think that Tippy must have been an avant-garde decorator in her human life. She takes everything and she pulls it up and she buries the puppies. And inevitably, little Skirt is the one who gets rolled up in the carpet like this. And he's so tiny, he can't really negotiate his way out of there. So a couple of times he's missed out during the night on his feeding session. And so his weight gain, we look for a weight gain of 10% per day right now. His weight gain has only been around 6 because Tippy has rolled him up there. However, he always catches up. He's really got that fighting spirit. I always think it's really interesting how so many of our little tiny puppies in a litter are always the most tenacious and they're always the most fierce. And I think that's why we always tend to fall in love with those ones. They steal our hearts as they just got that really strong drive to survive. And he's doing great. Otherwise, the puppies, they're all doing well. You can see they all have really nice shiny coats, which is a really good indicator of their health. They've all got perfect bowel movements. They're really doing just exactly what I would expect at this stage. I don't think that there's been any hindrance at all from the fact that Tippy was away for those few days when she was having her surgery. Tippy herself is being her usual good mom self. She is still growling back and forth with Jojo. I think she's still got a chip on her shoulder here that Jojo got to have her puppies for a few days, and instead of saying thank you, as would be the nice thing to do, no, she just growls at her and says, no, you cannot get near my puppies. I expect in the next couple of weeks as time goes by, that will change. Next week, Jojo's puppies will be ready to move out to the Doodle Den. So Tipster will be in here by herself with her puppies. And I think by the time Tippy's puppies are ready to move to the Doodle Den, they'll have had a nice period where they've been separated and they'll probably go back to being the good friends that they normally are. Jojo's a very playful girl. Tippy loves to run around and play too. Their personalities will be the type that get along naturally, so I'm not worried once we get over the next couple of weeks that they won't develop into good friends. Tippy remains very protective of her puppies. Jojo's guardians came to visit her on the weekend, and we had to take Tippy out because Tippy will not let anyone come in the room where her puppies are. So they had to visit Jojo out in the courtyard. Thank goodness it's summer. And then we just took Tippy and put her into our bedroom so that they could come and visit with Jojo's puppies. And that way we solved the problem and everybody was happy, right? Yes. Oh, yes. She just makes such a good guard dog whenever there's anyone getting remotely close to her puppies. So that is the update generally for the litter. Tippy herself, she has a really good appetite. So she's eating right now about 4 to 5 pounds of raw a day, pretty much. And we alternate between the frozen raw and the freeze-dried. Sometimes we mix them together. The only thing Tippy doesn't like, which I wish she did, is raw eggs. I like my pregnant and lactating dogs to eat a raw egg every other day. It's very high in zinc. It's also a great source of many other good, valuable micronutrients. But Tippy is not an egg fan. She likes them when they're cooked, and I'm sure if she could give her order to Reynolds to make her a French omelet, she'd like that. But sometimes Reynolds a little busy doing his other things, Tipster. So now I want to talk to all of our families a bit about getting ready to bring your puppy home. I know it seems like it's so far in the future still, but it's important to start getting set up. So you want to start thinking about, where are there areas where you don't want the puppy to go? Are you going to have dog-free zones? Now, if you have young children in particular, this is probably a really good idea. Kids are really good about leaving things on the floor. And the things they leave on the floor generally tend to be the things they like the best. And they also tend to be the things that young puppies like to go and pick up and investigate and chew. And then we usually end up with a child who's just devastated because their favorite, whatever it is, has been destroyed. And we may even end up with a puppy who's making a trip to emergency because they've eaten something that they ought not to have. So I always feel that unless your children are over 14, and sometimes even if they are teenagers, it can be worse, that those are dog-free zones. And you want to start working with your kids now so that it's automatic whenever they go out of their room that they close the door to their room. So there's no chance of the puppy coming in and getting into something that's trouble. Now, if that isn't going to work, then you really do have to seriously start getting your kids ready to put everything away and picked up all the time. And this holds true for you, mom and dad, as well. What do puppies like the best? Well, I can tell you, it's your expensive cell phone. Those are always a big hit. It's your expensive prescription glasses. Those are a big hit. And if you happen to have a pair of expensive Jimmy Choo shoes, oh yeah, those will be the ones they pick. They won't pick the slip-ons you got at Walmart. No, they'll pick the Jimmy Choos every time. So everything needs to have a place. Remote controls for the TV, or any of your other electronic things. If kids have a Xbox or a Switch, you want to take all of those controls and find a place now so everybody's in the habit, so that in 7 weeks from now when you bring your baby home, it's just habit that those things all go up here. And make sure wherever up here is really high, because puppies will amaze you at how clever they are at getting to things that they want to be able to access. So don't put them on the coffee table, because your puppy will be able to get things off the coffee table before you know it. They may be too small when they first come home, but it will not take very long at all before they're more than able to access that coffee table. So that's the first thing. You also want to pick the door that your puppy's going to use to go to the bathroom. You want this to be a door that is easy to get to from anywhere in the house, wherever the puppy's going to be, and that if you have kids, it's easy for them to open and close, so they can quickly take the puppy in and out. Those are the main things. I'm going to send you a video that goes through a number of things about getting your house ready. Things like getting your electrical cords out of the way. You also want to take any house plants, make sure they're well up out of the way of the puppy, because they all love to eat house plants. They'll eat the dirt, they'll eat the leaves, and many house plants are toxic and even fatal to dogs. The other thing that you want to be sure that you're controlling and getting out of the way is all of your cords for your computer, chargers, that sort of thing, or floor lamps. All of those things you want to pick up and get out of the way. So it's just a matter of starting a new routine, and it's time now to start getting into that routine. Now, after you've done that more mundane type of task, let's do something fun. Let's start choosing the name for your puppy if you haven't already. So when you're choosing the name, you want to be sure you've got something fun, something simple, and something unique. You don't want to call your puppy and have 10 dogs come because they all have the same name. So don't pick the most popular name. Pick something that's meaningful to you. Something you can shorten, something that's easy to say if you have children, and something that's easy to spell. Something that's good for your vet to remember, your groomer, so they aren't always stumbling over your dog's name, especially if you have some different spelling for it and they're going like, what, who is this dog again? They won't be able to look it up. So if you had a dog, say, that was called Sophie, and you spelled it S-O-F instead of S-O-P-H, you know, they're trying to look it up in their records, and because you've got this weird spelling, they can't find it. So things like that to keep in mind. It's lots of fun to choose your dog's name. It's something you're going to have for the next 15 plus years. You probably are going to want to pick a name for a boy and a girl, since we have 2 of each in this litter. So who knows what it is that it's going to be going home with you. So those are the things to be thinking of and working on with your puppy for the next the next few weeks, ideally before allocation. And then if you know your puppy's name, if you're doing Head Start, then we can already start to get your puppy's recall going and their name recognition going in the Head Start program. Oh, and here's Mr. Squirt. See, she's busy licking him and knocking him over and sending him in all the wrong way. Yes, you are. Terrible, terrible. Poor little guy. We do come in frequently and make sure he's pointed in the right direction. And if we find that it's a time when Tippy has really bundled him up somewhere, we'll just sit in here and hang on to him and keep him at the milk bar to make sure that he is getting his fair share. Right, Mama? Now, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comments below here on YouTube. It's really helpful to us and our channel. And also, if you're enjoying getting these updates, if you can give us not a pause up, but a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. And if you would consider joining and subscribing to our channel, that would be even better. We would really appreciate all of that. Now this week, the main thing that we were looking for with these puppies was for them to double their birth weight. And as I said, everybody has, with little Squirt just squeaking in there at the last minute. Technically, he was slightly below yesterday, but we're just not going to, we're going to ignore that and say that everybody did that. Great accomplishment for puppies who were without their own mom for several days. Really good accomplishment for mom to have a good milk bar after, while she's recovering from surgery. So really happy with how everybody's doing. And now next week, what we're going to be looking for is that next milestone, which is when they may have opened their eyes. Now, puppies open their eyes anywhere from between day 10 and 18, typically, with day 14 sort of being the average there. Puppies aren't able to process all the information that comes from sight and sound, so that's why they're born with their eyes sealed shut and their ears sealed shut. And then as their neurological systems develop and mature, and they're able to process the information, then their eyes and their ears open in the appropriate time for that individual puppy. It is not indicative of whether that puppy is advanced or behind. It's just a matter of when these things happen to develop for each individual puppy. So that's what we're going to be looking for happening over the next week. Maybe when we do our update next week, we'll see some of their eyes, and maybe we won't. We'll just have to wait and see. And now let's go through and tell you what their actual weights are now, and let you have a close-up look at each of them. I want to get to them before they get really excited about nursing there. Okay, are you going to go somewhere? There we go. Thanks for helping. Oh, Tippy's just going to leave. There we go. She's trying to be accommodating. So we'll do them in birth order as always. And of course, our firstborn is little Squirt here. Mr. Green Collar, who is our beautiful chocolate tri-boy. And he's a tri-boy because he's a phantom. So his chocolate has 10 points, and then of course he has the white as well. So the 3 colors. And look at, he's showing you his cute little pink tongue because he was getting all ready to nurse. Oh, he says, I'm so sad that my mommy left me. And little guy weighs 334 grams. So he's still pretty tiny. He still fits in one hand, but oh, he's just a doll. And his personality is already showing through. He's tenacious, and he is really keen on taking advantage of every situation and making it work for him. After Green, we have Red Collar Girl. Hello, sweetie. Hello, Miss Red. And Miss Red Collar Girl is our pretty little caramel girl. Oh, and she's going to show you her big yawn too. You can see already she's got her dark foot pads showing. Yeah. And Miss Red is 599 grams. So she's really coming along. You can see she's one of the chunky puppies in the litter. Nice and wide and broad there. And we're also doing our early neurological stimulation with the puppies, which just involves very, very simple stressors for just a few seconds. We usually only do 1 a day per puppy. We do that. If they show us any signs of being uncomfortable or agitated, we immediately stop, because the goal of this is to put them in an unusual situation but have nothing bad happening. There you go, so that they learn that right from the get-go. After red is orange collar. Orange collar is also a dark chocolate, and orange is also a little phantom. Now he is not, well, he does have white on him like his brother does, so I suppose you could call him a tri, but normally when we refer to tris in ALD world, that involves having some white sprinkling on the head here, and he doesn't have any white on his head, just his chest. I'm just going to adjust his collar here because it's going the wrong way. There we go. There we go. And Mr. Orange is 461 grams. So he's right in the middle. And by the way, Ms. Red Collar, she is the biggest puppy in the litter. So she is the biggest, as she has been since birth, and Green is the smallest, as he has been since birth. I don't expect that Green is ever going to change much in that position, at least not for the next at least 3-4 weeks, but he may eventually take over and not be the smallest in the litter. And then we have got Miss Purple Collar Girl here. Hi, baby. Oh, kiss. I love you. I love you. Hi. And Purple is also a chocolate phantom, just like her brothers. And she has just a little teeny smidge of white. So she's not a tri. She's just a nice, pretty phantom. Pretty tan point showing off there. And you can see she's got quite healthy sized paws. She's got fairly big feet there, eh, little girl? And Miss Purpy weighs 526 grams. So they're all doing great. They're all thriving. And even if Tippy had not had surgery, I would say these puppies were all doing really well, and that everybody was nice, gorgeous, shiny coats, nice, firm, wide bodies, just like what you want to see, nice and plump. And considering the fact that they were without their mom for a few days in a foster situation, and that Tippy is recovering, I'd say they're just doing excellent. Really proud of them, and particularly proud of Tippy. So thanks so much for watching, and we hope you'll join us again for our week 2 update, and maybe we'll get to see some of those pretty little peepers.